AZ Rant is a segment where I take a less structured and humorous approach to look at any topic that crosses my mind relating to the subject of anime and manga. It contains my raw, biased opinion and is for the purpose of creating debate and or discussion, so it shouldn't be taken too seriously. Got that? Great, now shut up and listen.
A quick glimpse into the Western anime community will undoubtedly reveal the popularity of 3 shows in particular that will dominate the plethora of discussions, cosplays and of course online internet flame wars in the otherwise vast world of anime. I am of course talking about the shows that have been dubbed the Big 3, or for those of you that have been living under a rock and have no idea what I mean, it's Naruto, Bleach and One Piece. Whether you love them, hate them, seen them or not, you've at least heard of them, since it's pretty much impossible to be a part of the community without having run into someone talking about them. They are the 3 shows that take over the traffic of every manga and anime site, the cosplayers that take over every convention, and are probably the gateway anime for fans in the West, even for those who don't know what anime even is. However, with the popularity comes a wide varied mix of opinions, with either fans praising the shit out of it, non-fans singing songs of overratedness, and everyone in between starting all-out arguments reminiscent of the fanboy fights in this generation's console war. But why is that? What could it be about these 3 series that allow them to gain such popularity? Why is there such a mix of opinion on all 3 of them? And why is it that the mere mention of them is greeted by a reaction of total disdain from non-fans? Naruto tells the ultimate underdog story of a loud, obnoxious ninja searching for approval and trying to become the leader of his ninja village, advertising smart fights and a lot of heart in the beginning, but along the way it lost focus to a bitchy teenager trying way too hard to angst and having battles that eventually ended up like every other shonen, where it just became a competition of who could collectively pull off the most powerful landscape-reducing fart with no real thought of anything else. Bleach follows the story of a teenager thrust into the world of the Soul Reapers and the battles that happen in the afterlife, having a strong start with the Soul Society arc, which I still consider as one of the best shonen arcs out there, but afterwards could never quite get back on track, with it just effectively repeating itself over and over again without the same flair, while always introducing characters that never actually went anywhere. One Piece focuses on the adventure of a young pirate trying to become the Pirate King, and does a great job at building a rich world with an immense scale, but it has a very slow start, taking around 50 episodes to get good, and the rest is just a balance of some absolutely fantastic arcs, which is countered by some slow, average and sometimes pointless arcs. Also, honestly, no matter how good you are, you shouldn't have to use up to 500 episodes to tell a coherent story with an ending still nowhere in sight. And the anime, for all of them, with no exception, suffer from a lot of filler. All these shows are not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but they are far from perfect and have plenty of competition in the same genre. So it begs the question of how 3 noticeably flawed shows garnered such popularity above all others. Well, the first answer is simple, since it's universally true that just because something is popular, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily good. Twat! But in terms of becoming popular, these 3 had everything going for them. Besides all 3 of them being extremely marketable by having the perfect balance of either pirates, ninjas or soul reapers, which are just basically death god samurais, they have their lengths. As much as I find their length a downfall in storytelling, it can do nothing but help with their popularity, since as popular as Death Note, Code Geass and Gurren Lagann were back a few years ago, they are a lot less talked about now because, well, they've ended. With the seemingly never-ending stories of the Big 3, there's always something new to discuss, something new to watch, something to keep fans coming back. And since they've been going on for years now, those are just more years for new people to discover them, allowing their popularity to grow over time even when shorter anime may have better stories. And that's the thing, when I started getting interested into anime, there was no Big 3. Naruto was the breakout hit, being dubbed as the possible next-gen Dragon Ball Z, Bleach's popularity was still rising while it became the hip alternative to Naruto, and One Piece was still recovering from the damage caused by a horrendously bad 4Kids dub. Their popularity has only grown over time, and this never would have happened if they had already ended, which brings me to my second reason why they are popular: luck. While anime was still growing in the West, people looked to Japan as a test of what to watch, and besides from One Piece, which was always mega popular, Naruto and Bleach were just becoming the next big thing. They just happened to be the most talked about and spotlighted shows at the beginning of an internet-fueled anime boom that started in the early 2000s, allowing all of them to be at the forefront for gateway shows into the shonen genre, which for anime is the most popular, the most talked about, and the easiest introduction for anyone into anime. Their popularity on the internet opened them up to TV broadcasts, which only further cemented them as a Big 3 shonen. In other words, for the West at least, they were at the right place at the right time, which is why in Japan there isn't even a Big 3 to talk about. In terms of popularity, it's pretty much just One Piece miles on top, then every other shonen way below it. So for people wondering about their popularity, well, there's always going to be something popular. If it wasn't these 3 shows, it would have been something else, and when they end, something similar is very likely to take over. Either way, with the popularity came the fandom, and with that, a shitstorm of childish arguments and comments from anyone saying anything negative about either show, or just even comparing them. To the point where if I were just to say something along the lines of One Piece is my favourite out of the big 3, I'm pretty sure that sentence alone is enough to spark a plethora of dislikes and childish arguments in the comment section from people completely missing the point. But I guess that's what I just did. Yes, if there's one stigma that comes from mentioning the big 3, it's undoubtedly the fan reaction that comes from whatever you say about them. If it's not a flood of general abuse, it's something along the lines of, well, my character can beat up your character, or this story is so much more deep and better, or that one fight scene is so much more epic than your fight scene. Which, judging from its target audience of teens, may be reasonable, but why limit it to 3 shows? I could never understand the hatred between fans when it came to the 3 series. With something like the console wars, there were only ever 3 consoles to choose from. Yes, I know there's PCs as well, but shut the fuck up, I'm trying to make a point here. So you have to justify your choice of spending hundreds of dollars on choosing one of the consoles, but with the big 3, there are literally thousands of other anime to choose from, all in different shapes and sizes. In the end, this fan attitude is the cause of pretty much every non-fan holding a somewhat negative opinion of the big 3, so much so that they even have their own names. Tards. But one thing I've noticed in the countless debates, the countless flame wars, the countless rants, is that they have less to do with how good the shows actually are, and more to do with the fan base either finding the need to flame someone for liking a different one of the big 3, or blindly declaring that their one is the best show ever. And I can only conclude that this problem stems from a limited knowledge of the general world of anime. So if there was a general point to this rant, I guess it's just a message to the big 3 fandom. I am not saying that the 3 shows are bad. In fact, there are some amazing moments in them, but everything they've achieved in the hundreds of episodes or chapters they have has been done elsewhere and mostly in a much shorter time period. The underdog story in Naruto may be good, but have you tried Hajime no Ippo, which has some of the most intense fight scenes I've ever seen, and it's an anime about fucking boxing. The jaw-dropping sword battles in Fate Zero are better than anything Bleach could ever achieve in its dreams, and if you're just talking about scale, Gurren Lagann trumps One Piece just on the sheer size of things while having the same feeling of epicness in a mere 27 episodes. In terms of underrated shonen manga, Siren has a more interesting concept and plots while managing to tell its story and end without deviating from the tone set in early chapters, and there are literally thousands of other stuff out there that you can find at the touch of your fucking fingertips. The fact that these 3 are popular doesn't bother me nearly as much as the fandom, since their popularity is the gateway for so many anime fans of this generation, and if there's one thing we can all agree on, increasing the popularity of anime is always a good thing. So where does the big 3 stand now? Well, the Bleach and Naruto manga are slowly coming to a close, with the Bleach anime already ended, and One Piece is still going strong with a story predicted to be concluded within the next 10 million years or so, while other shonen are slowly getting noticed and waiting to take over when their popularity ends. So whether it be the next Fairy Tail Shippuden or Toriko Ball Z, there will always be a show or several shows that hog the limelight, and whatever shows they may be, I'm sure it's inevitable that they will share the same love, hate and passion that have been given by this generation's anime fans towards the big 3. So I'm asking you guys now, what do you think of the big 3, its popularity and its fans? Leave a comment or video response for your chance to get featured in my next rant. Oh, and please don't start arguing over which one's the best, since I have a part 2 of this rant coming out very soon with my full opinion of all 3 shows where you can do just that. Anyway, that's it for me now, but with your responses to my last rant video, should more anime come back to TV?
Now that Toonami is back on the air, it is important for it to survive. Besides needing money to create new animations and a dedicated viewership to pull in ratings, Toonami needs new programming to draw in a new audience. So for any viewer who wants things
全部真に受けて信じちゃっても肩を押されて一歩リード